pointed at me. All the stories on my internet are pointed at me. What they've done is flip the good guys and the bad guys. I'm Moses. You're the evil one. They want me to be the lawbreaker and them the cops. No, you're confused. Okay, you're confused. Moses is the high moral ground. Moses has the high moral ground. Moses.
We were all best friends, having the time of our lives.
Woe unto thee, O Israel! You have sinned a great sin in the sight of God. You are not worthy to receive these 10 commandments.
We're gathered against you, Moses. You take too much upon yourself. We will not live by your commandments. We're free.
There is no freedom without the law.
Whose law, Moses? Yours? Did you carve those tablets to become a prince over us?
Who is on the Lord's side?
Okay, so Moses has the high moral ground, and the decadent CIA niggers are atheists. Moses has the high moral ground, and the CIA niggers are atheists. Did you read my... You forced me to humiliate you. Obama and the atheist CIA wake each day and ask, how can we fuck God today? I know, we'll make nuns perform abortions. We'll make homos dance naked in Russian churches in front of old church ladies. Isn't that hilarious? We'll make a complete mockery of marriage because, after all, niggers don't have fathers, and that's not fair. My wife, Michelle, for example, wants there to be no cupcakes for school birthdays because of single moms. We'll make God hated just for pedophiles and crazy, insane sand niggers. We'll drink fetus soup with the Queen and celebrate the end of births. We'll make having children pedophilic. We'll make every 5-year-old African girl learn how to put on a condom. We'll make churches no longer tax exempt. We'll make all the conservative sons into liberal atheist homos. We'll bring Mexicans in to ensure democratic votes. Whites don't have children because they covet money. Nigger, you're in no position to be copping an attitude. Nigger, you should be on your knees because God talks, okay? The nigger brain, why are you having a problem understanding what a fucking random number is? It's a fucking random number. On your knees, nigger. This is not a time to be copping an attitude. 30906. I will chastise you with scorpions. Wherefore the king hearkened not unto the people, for the cause was from the Lord, that he might perform his saying, which the Lord spake by Ahijah the Silonite unto Jeroboam the son of Nebat. So when all Israel saw that the king hearkened not unto them, the people answered the king, saying, what portion have we with David? Neither have we inheritance in the son of Jesse. To your tents, O Israel. Now see thine own house, David. So Israel departed unto their tents. But as for the children of Israel which dwelt in the cities of Judah, Rehoboam reigned over them. Then King Rehoboam sent Adoram, who was over the the tribute, and all Israel stoned him with stones that he died. Therefore King Rehoboam made speed to get him up in his chariot to flee to Jerusalem. So Israel rebelled against the house of David unto this day. So God appears, and the atheist is throwing around moral high ground statements. Dude, man, it's fucking God. You are in no position to be copying an attitude. You're a fucking atheist. If I say God, and the next thing you talk about is stem cells, you are an atheist. If I say God, and the next thing you talk about is gay marriage, you are an atheist. If I say God, and the next thing you talk about is population, you are an atheist. If I say God, and the next thing you talk about is, this is how you can tell an atheist. Okay, it's really simple. The Democrats are fucked. See what happened? Okay, here's the way it works. What you do to others gets done to you. Microsoft grew while IBM declined, and now Microsoft is declining. What you do to others often gets done to you. When you're 25, you're a hotshot engineer. The companies want you. You hit 50, now you got a problem. And if you don't stay current. So what was I saying? Hold on a second here. Damn it. I lost my train of thought. So IBM, damn it. Hold on here. Let's see, what was I talking about? What you do to others gets done to you. Oh, yeah. Okay, so Obama, there's a saying in the Bible, if you give mercy, you will get mercy. And what has Obama done? Obama has been very ruthlessly changing the young people into Democrats. He's taking no prisoners. He's doing it ruthlessly. And guess what? Proof of God instantly is Othello. Pow! Bing, 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 bing. All the chips flip over. That's what happens when you get proof of God, okay? It's instant destruction of Democrats. Instant. What does the Democrats stand for? Everything that is against God. That's their party. Their party is the anti-God party. They're fucked. Everything flips over, man. It's instant. Obama, you're in no position to be copping an attitude. It's inevitable. If you give mercy, you get mercy. And the ruthless propaganda, the CIA has attacked pedophile priests. They have waged war on God. Now those chips came home. They're what? 11084. You're fucked. There's justice. 11084. God said you mess with a priest, you mess with him. That makes me giggle. Shall be burnt with fire, both he and they, that there be no wickedness among you. And if a man lie with the beast, he shall surely be put to death, and ye shall slay the beast. And if a woman approach any beast, and lie down thereto, thou shalt kill the woman and the beast. They shall surely be put to death. Their blood shall be upon them. And if a man shall take his sister, his father's daughter, or his mother's daughter, and see her nakedness, and she see his nakedness, it is a wicked thing. And okay, well, anyway, I think the Democrats, the next big cause for the Democrats is bestiality. What's next, Democrats? You got to do bestiality, man boy love. What's next, Democrats? Anyway, I didn't buy my fucking pets. 29694. God said pets are homo. 29694. Gath was come again, and the king sent and called for Shemiah, and said unto him, Did I not make thee to swear to the Lord, and protest unto thee, saying, Know for a certain that the day thou goest out and walkest abroad anywhither, thou shalt surely die. And thou sayest unto me, The word that I have heard is good. Why then hast thou not kept the oath of the Lord, and the commandment that I have charged with thee? The king said more to Shemaiah, Thou knowest all the wickedness which thine heart is privy to, that thou didst to David my father. Therefore the Lord shall return thy wickedness upon thy own head. And King Solomon shall be blessed, and the throne of David shall be established before the Lord forever. So the king commanded Benaiah, son of Jehoiada, which went out and fell upon him that he died, and the kingdom was established in the hand of Solomon. So, what is the nature of pedophilia? They've turned it into population control. It's definitely crossed. Now there is such a thing. However, now it's population control. If you want kids, you're a pedophile. That's pretty much. So, this is kind of awkward.
So, when I was in first grade,
Okay. Now, he obviously thinks it's innocent. It's not a sexual thing. But this is clearly raises some eyebrows. I'm really fortunate that I had some male teachers in 5th and 6th grade. There's nothing wrong with that. But if you ask somebody, is a male elementary school teacher a pedophile? What are they going to say? Anybody who does that, I don't know. Is a male elementary school teacher a pedophile? It depends on how much of a witch hunt. So sometimes it's fun to be backstage with Mr. God. It has been a lot of fun. When they're attacking, when the pedophiles start talking, it's pretty when the FBI starts going after pedophiles, it's kind of funny. The other thing was one of the funniest things was a couple years ago, the immigrant boats into Europe were sinking, and the Pope was really, really sad. and God claimed credit for it. So I was like, shell the boats. Anyway. It can kind of, morality's not as easy as you think. So this is kind of, so God came, there was a, let's see, when this happened, when the Rosetta mission happened, there was a controversy. A guy had a shirt. Anyway, God violently claimed credit for ruining the Rosetta, and there was a double disaster. They had a rocket blow up the same week, and God claimed credit. God hates him. So I don't know what this.
Do something a little.
Europe is a lot of atheists, and scientists are atheists, and can't say I see anything particularly wrong. Fantasy is, I don't know. Let's get God's opinion. They did this video. It's kind of about gods or something. Let's see what God says. But it's fun being backstage with Mr. God. I don't like the, was it Westboro Baptist? That's kind of harsh. You shouldn't really, jump on the bandwagon. Should you? Love God with all heart, mind, and soul. Go get him, God. That can't be the right answer. But if he hates them, maybe he doesn't really hate, he just does it. Sometimes he hates them. I hate all your enemies, God. Don't I hate all your enemies? That's in the Bible. I hate them as though they're my enemies. So, 22002. The niggers still, nobody has realized what a random number is. It's still, I'm in a prison and it's niggers who don't know what a random number is. Same shall go with thee, and whosoever I say unto thee, this shall not go with thee, the same shall not go. So he brought down the people into the water, and the Lord said unto Gideon, every one that lappeth of the water with his tongue, as a dog lappeth, him shalt thou set by himself. Likewise every one that boweth down upon his knees to drink. And the number of them that lapped put their hand to their mouth were 300 men, but all the rest of the people bowed down upon their knees to drink water. And the Lord said unto Gideon, by the 300 men that lapped will I save you, and deliver the Midianites unto thy hand, and let all the other people go, every man to his place. Now this, I thought I was good at interpreting, but this is a challenge. Okay, so he got on my case about dogs. This is good to be a dog. Something like that. There's the 300 Homo Greek guys. The world loves those 300 Homo Greek guys. Whatever. I guess they're not homo. Yeah, they are. So 300. Normally, it's immediately obvious who the different characters are. Like, we've been talking about the European Space Agency. We've been talking about, I can't think of 300 good guys. That doesn't make any sense. I think it's about lapping like a dog. God is still. So I should teach some guidelines for, I get the impression old people know what's going on. But if you read a story, you try to make sense of it in light of the current conversation. Some people might call that insanity and delusion. When you start getting wildly perceiving reality as a metaphor. In other words, if everything is symbolic representation, you can pretty quickly become what appears to be a crazy man, deluded, not in touch with reality. Sometimes your interpretations can become irrational, and you are pretty much crazy. Like, for example, the last one, that simply did not fit. It was a dud. Sometimes it's hard to tell. Usually it's not a dud. For me. But it's important to keep your... That was a trick question, and I did not get tricked. Backstage with God. Any disasters? Boo. Hit him again. Yeah, those Westboro Baptist guys that's not good.
Нужно, чтобы законы работали. Владимир Владимирович, надо, чтобы работали законы.
Сегодня мы все, жители города Омска, обращаемся к нашему президенту.
Здравствуйте, Владимир Владимирович. Все наши реки перекрыли сетями.
Где наши дивиденды от полезных ископаемых? Первое.
Очередь в детские сады на сегодняшний день составляет 9500 человек.
В Краснодарском крае у нас страшная коррупция. И я не могу ничего добиться.
Экологическая ситуация в Челябинске стала невыносимой.
Вся проблема в том, что мы все, Владимир Владимирович, бомжи. Мы не пьем, родители всю жизнь трудились, отец был дальнобойщиком.
То, что творится на ГУП Мосавтосантранс, это рабский и принудительный труд, иначе по-другому назвать нельзя. И такое в службе скорой творится по всей России.
And Mr. God says, fuck yourselves. Thou shalt not complain. You think I'm joking? I'm not joking. The number one rule is because fuck you. Now the people complained in their hardships in the hearing of the Lord, and when he heard them, his anger was roused. Then fire from the Lord burnt among them and consumed some of the outskirts of the camp. When the people cried to Moses, he prayed to the Lord, and the fire died down. So the place was called Taberah, because fire from the Lord had burned among them. I think God knows the situation. You don't have to tell him. He created the situation. Highs and lows balance, and therefore just hang tough. He created the situation. It's not an accident. God does everything. He denies it, but it's true. He does everything. He said, I didn't do it. 2894. Maybe he didn't do it. 28. The number one rule is because fuck you. I think that's a Linus quote. That's my favorite. That's my favorite Linus quote. Because fuck you. And God remembered Rachel, and God hearkened to her and opened her womb. And she conceived and bare a son, and said, God hath taken away my reproach. And she called his name Joseph, and said, the Lord shall add to me another son. And it came to pass, when Rachel had borne Joseph, that Jacob said unto Laban, send me away, that I might go unto my own place and to my own country. Give me my wives and my children, for whom I have served thee. Let me go, for thou knowest my service which I have done thee. And Laban said unto him, I pray thee, if I have found favor in thine eyes, tarry, for I have learned by experience that the Lord hath blessed me, and for thy sake. Why? Because fuck you. I think you should say that, Mr. God. Why? Because fuck you. That's kind of weird. I don't know why I have a nephew that's anorexic. Not quite sure what the fuck's going on there. Sean is a little bit crazy. I wonder if he has some... Sean, why are you starving your kid? This ought to be good. Let's see what's up with Torvalds. You're no fun. Carry Dow. I think God likes soap operas. I think he likes this game. Sort of. Not that God likes games. What do you think, Mr. God? You like The Sims? You know, he really doesn't sound very smart if you... It's been a while since I heard anything smart. This guy's fired. You're so fired. You fucking made wimpier processors. Oh, hell no. Fuck the CIA. Fucking making wimpier processors. They're clawing back our CPUs. Oh, hell no. I heard from a bird 50 gigahertz processors. Motherfuckers. Who cares about China? We got fucking God. Give us the damn processors. Nigger. China can fuck themselves. We got God. Give us the 50 gigahertz processors. So let's see. I wrote down my plans for. So I wrote my demands. I wrote command. So this is pretty reasonable. The only controversy I should explain. I've already explained the Red Sea file system. There's a video about everything. The next step, that's just to fix it more or less with modern technology, with modern systems, without. The next step is a more disruptive plan to make the hardware beautiful and glorious for God's temple. So what are we going to do? Make simple, super high-speed, simple serial, super simple block devices. I just talked about this a little earlier today, but there's some more things we can do. So we want all I/O to be done with I/O ports, except for VGA. We want that to be done with the memory frame buffer. We don't really want to use acceleration. We want 1 byte per pixel, but only 16 colors. The point is, now you might say, don't you want to make it super fast? No, that's not the point. Like, for example, we have a text layer, we have a layer put on top of the text, we draw triangles and stuff. A person would normally expect, if this really is God's temple, you would expect the hardware to to make it faster, but that's not what our goal is. We're trying to keep this transparent, and when I had a Commodore 64, it was the joy of learning and messing with all the internals. You could copy the ROM to RAM and then play with it. You know, we're not basically, it's kind of like once you let yourself go, we're not trying to win performance awards. So why start now? Anyway, we want it transparent. So I don't want the text, I don't want layers out automatically. You know what's surprising? The Commodore 64 had collision detection for sprites. Believe it or not, that's actually quite a big CPU load. You might have a 3 gigahertz processor, but if you start doing sprite collisions by hand, you can actually run out of room. That's the whole point. That in a nutshell is why we want monster desktops, because you get a little 15-year-old making a game and he's doing sprite collision checks, and pretty quickly he's blown his budget, and he needs 6 gigahertz and he needs 8 cores. You know, more than 8 cores, I think they start getting in each other's way. It has to happen at some point. Basically, we start modifying pixels from 8 cores, and they have a cache line which is 64 bytes, and so if you have 8 cores modifying the screen, well, if they both modify the same spot, there's nothing to protect that. It's going to be a glitch. However, you could use locks, but now suddenly everything's ridiculously slow. So locks are out of the question. So you have to keep the 8 cores out of each other's way when you design your graphic update. Now, if we give you 64 cores, now it quickly starts looking, no, I don't really think we want that many cores. I mean, we can have them, but I'm satisfied. My lust for more cores, I think 16 is good. Once you start getting, at some point, it's not good. I definitely don't want hyper-threading, because that means we have crappy cores, and I don't want hyper-threading. Now, what if Intel made this the benchmark they optimized? It's reasonable. So all the other applications are secondary importance. God's temple is primary importance, because fuck you. God gets the gold. You know, the Russians put gold on their little onion domes. All the gold goes to God. We're going to make the same level of gross domestic product devoted to God as the Middle Ages, when they built cathedrals and they lived really poor, and they had monks in monasteries hand copying Bible. Think of the man hours and stuff. And everybody was that's our goal. Everybody spends all day talking to God and stuff. And anyway, so what was the temple? It was a meeting place. It was literally that was the direction up. You go up to the temple. I think they didn't they pray in the direction of the temple? I think they did. It was pretty much the center of Jewish life. There was nothing more important than the temple. They had an oracle and stuff. They didn't let everybody do it, I guess. Maybe they did. No, I don't know. Anyway, so don't, I can't overstate. Anyway. Actually, I did have plans. Reddit should have a random passage picker. So it deserves its own website. You get a Reddit site. You do an offering, which is what you do beforehand, and then it picks a random passage. I think in the interest of the general public, I think we should randomly pick just from Bible passages, because the public needs to be educated on the Bible, for one thing. No, fuck the Koran, fuck the other ones, fuck you, because fuck you. Obama's like, well, we're gonna do the Koran, and the other one, no, because fuck you. It's not how it works. The First Amendment, that's lovely. Anybody want the First Amendment? I didn't think so. So, what do you figure? First Amendment doesn't last the first year that God talks to everybody? The First Amendment doesn't last the first year that God talks to everybody. Let's do a random number. Everyone kind of laughs at the First Amendment. 55460. Train up a child in the way he should go, and when he is old, he will not depart from it. The rich ruleth over the poor, and the borrower is servant to the lender. He that soweth iniquity shall reap vanity, and the rod of his anger shall fail. He that hath a bountiful eye shall be blessed, for he giveth of his bread to the poor. Cast out the scorner, and contention shall go out, yea, strife and reproach shall cease. He that loveth pureness of heart, for the grace of his lips, the king shall be his friend. The eyes of the Lord preserve knowledge, and he overthroweth the words of the transgressor. Okay, and let's go see. So, Physics Girl is talking to Obama. Obama has girls. My favorite Torvalds quote, because fuck you. don't even know if he said it. I think he did. It's genius. So we were going to have an Oracle website like Reddit that was internationally certified with Secret Service and election monitors. What the hell is this? The nigger is an atheist. The nigger doesn't know what a random number is. How can you talk to such a stupid fuck? How do you communicate to a fucking monkey that doesn't know what a random number is? 75185. You can't talk to a monkey. Fraser is a goddamn monkey. You can't talk to a monkey. Against her mother, the daughter-in-law against her mother-in-law. A man's enemies are the men of his own house. Therefore I will look unto the Lord. I will wait for the God of my salvation. My God will hear me. Rejoice not against me, O my enemy. When I fail, I shall arise. And when I sit in darkness, the Lord shall be a light unto me. I will bear the indignation of the Lord, because I have sinned against him, until he plead my cause and execute judgment for me. He will bring me forth to the light, and I shall behold his righteousness. Then she that is mine enemy shall see it, and shall shame cover her, which said unto me, Where is the Lord thy God? My eyes shall behold her. Now shall she be trodden down as the mire of the streets. The monkey cannot understand what a random number is. The monkey brain guess what? The Greeks had an oracle. The Jewish temple had an oracle. The lot cast in the lap every decision is from the Lord. How did they know this? It was fucking obvious. They were picking random passages and they were talking. They can pick them by flipping coins. They can pick them any random oracle the critical thing is that you do an offering. And then once you do an offering, it's that simple. You have to entertain God somehow. You have to barter with Him. Everything makes sense. Tea leaves, why would anybody read tea leaves? Well, if you do an offering and you have a channel of communication with a language, then God can use that language. It all comes down to establishing a communication channel with a language. I think that the flame of the bush was some kind of language. If it double flicks, it means yes. If it single flicks, it means no. Something like that. The burning bush. What else would it mean? I think he had some kind of... What do you think, Mr. God? Was the burning bush some kind of language? I said to physics girl she should try to get a bush fire to talk. You could confirm the burning bush. Come up with a language for flames of fire. You know, someone had a Swiss cheese that they put on a page of text. If I were in prison, that's what I might use. Forget tea leaves, we're going to use Swiss cheese. Swiss cheese is the best.
Hey guys.
Oh, hell no. I guess he was just letting you read it. So do a disaster, God, so that we can talk about it. Why don't you do it to the CIA? There was a helicopter that crashed on MI6 or something like that.
What if 30,000 people download the new app?
We're good.
5 million.
Good. We scale on demand.
What if 30 million people download the app?
We're total heroes.
Scale on demand with the #1 company in cloud infrastructure.
So this is the most excited I've been about putting something on a test bench in quite some time. We've got our whole room water cooling setup, video series, and well, just doing it, building 5 systems that are all running on the same water cooling loop and then spitting the heat out of the house sort of project coming up. But of course, there's some preparation that needs to be done. So I always preach to people that especially if you're going to be liquid cooling a rig.
What are the copyright issues? He wants his own viewership. Oh well, I don't think I want to watch this anyway. So let's talk about the glorious when God's temple is built. We're gonna make 400 million. They're gonna, okay, so I have, let's say I have, in the past I spent $2,500 on a desktop, and now they want to sell me, they say, oh, lucky you, it only cost $800, and I'm sitting here saying, why do I want the same computer, and why don't you sell me a better computer for $2,500? No, we reduced the price. And it's the same as it was 3 years ago. What the fuck? Come on. Give me water cooled or some shit. What the hell? I don't want an $800 computer. Especially, how is it possible to leave money on the table? How are they leaving money on the table? I don't understand. A computer should be $2,500, and you should. Why? Is there some reason you can't? Okay, so Intel is like really fucked up. So here is a wafer. When you get into parallel processing, connectivity is a big issue. You have to move information from CPU to CPU. Connectivity is a huge issue. Okay, so isn't it fucking obvious? If I use an entire wafer as a computer, don't you see how much connectivity I can get? Isn't it fucking obvious? That you can make 1,000 wires between each chip. No problem. No problem. So what the fuck is going on? Why don't we have a wafer chip that's massively connected? It's a no-brainer. We want a wafer chip that is massively connected. Why don't you put some NV memory, non-volatile memory? Why don't you put you can put a wireless here and there, non-volatile memory, RAM, you should put RAM on here. Why don't you have a massive amount of RAM, non-volatile memory? Well, they're obviously not trying. They're giving us slower computers and shit. It's not a good faith effort. They're not trying. It's the CIA trying to fuck it up. I got my dog. Hey, little puppy. Say hi. So, when I'm confirmed as high priest of God's temple, we're going to do some shit. Intel is my bitch. That means I get to say what Intel does. Okay? The CIA is my bitch. How hard can it be? English is the new Latin. There, I just fucking did more than the CIA has done for the last 100 years. English is the new Latin. We put the fucking Bible on the chip, and we have the temple, and we are the Holy Roman Empire. Gotta bitch slap the CIA. What? It's a figure of speech. What do you think dildos, Mr. God? Those are okay. I think God likes dildos. God said oral sex is birth control. He's against anal sex. He said homos can do oral sex. He likes it better if homos reproduce. Dildos. What do you think of cucumbers, Mr. God? The Bible talks about cucumbers in a few locations. Do a text search for cucumber in the Bible. Don't talk about dogs. 88501. Which also our fathers came after, brought in with Jesus into the possession of the Gentiles. What? Whom God drave out before the face of our fathers unto the days of David, who found favor before God and desired to find a tabernacle for the God of Jacob. But Solomon built him a house. Howbeit the Most High dwelleth not in temples made with human hands, as saith the prophet, Heaven is my throne, and earth is my footstool. What house will ye build me, saith the Lord, or what is the place of my rest? Hath not my hand made all these things? Ye stiff-necked and uncircumcised in heart and ears, ye do always resist the Holy Ghost, as your fathers did, so do ye. Which of the prophets have not your fathers persecuted? And they have slain them which shewed before of the coming of the just one, of whom ye have been now the betrayers and murderers, who have received the law by the disposition of angels, and have not kept it. Want to play some songs, Mr. God? They won't give me copyright problems for my own songs, will they? Yeah. Where is he? is this? So maybe you can convince somebody that it's not using the network. It is kind of ridiculous that a person has no way to prove that TempleOS doesn't use a network. There's no way to verify that it's not using the network. Well, a reasonable person says that if you don't have a network in VMware, it's not using the network. But some people are stubborn. And so okay, I'm running out of things to say. Let's look at my downloads. Oh, why do I always... That's an elevated number of... Damn, that bird does that a lot. Damn, that bird does that. What is this? I thought I had more than that. No. Okay. Don't worry, I don't make any money. Nothing wrong with making money. So, hey, they said something. Some nigger saying something. Okay, so let's go ahead and explain how you install a white man operating system. To install a white man operating system, let's download the 2 meg. We're going to download 2 meg. Save. That it went in my downloads directory. Then we go into here, new virtual machine. Are you following? Because the nigger can't seem to do this. Go into here. He has a problem. Let's just prove something, okay? We're going to do the ultralight 2 meg. Next. Why don't we say, is there a way to make it 32-bit? The nigger insists on using 32-bit. And I just want to show that it does not work with 32-bit. It works with 64-bit. And he says, no, you lie. It works on 32-bit. I know it does. I can tell by the graphics it's 32-bit. Believe it or not, you lie. I can tell by the graphics that it's 32-bit. So it will not work with 64 meg. You need 512. I'm going to bump it up to, okay. We're going, we don't use the sound card. We don't use the network. This is how a white man operating system installs. You use the CD-ROM to load an ISO and boot it, and then a white man operating system has an install script. Install onto hard drive. Yes. Are you installing in VMware? Yes. It's normal for this to freeze for a moment or two. Press a key. This is how a white man operating system is installed. Okay, reboot now. Yes. Well, look at that. There's a bootloader, and we can load there. How hard is that? The nigger cannot handle installing a white man operating system. How hard is that? Look at that. We have an 8-core flight simulator. We have a kernel, and we have the compiler. We can. It's 100% open source. All the code is here. If you want to compile it, you can say make all. That's not what you do. You say make OS boot install. It's a mouthful. C. This is how you recompile the kernel and compiler, and you reinstall so that it will boot. If you don't do it this way, it will not boot. The only way to do it is to do this. If you don't do it this way, it will not boot. The nigger wants to boot my kernel with grub. That is not how you do it. Grub is a cluster-fucked monstrosity. That now they have a language that makes a script. And all you really need is to chain load. I wrote a bootloader that you're welcome to use. If you don't want to use grub, you can use my bootloader. It starts in real mode, and then you have to change to protected mode. But since you're already doing multi-core, you need to be able to change to long mode on your own. So we're drive letter C, probe. And there's a shortcut. You can either enter the numbers with the 0x, or in this case we want number 4. It knows if the port is low that it's one of those. So that's good. There. Now we're going to use the default disk cache. We're going to use default options. Okay, we just recompiled the kernel and compiler. So it's 100% open source. I made a compiler. You can recompile we just compiled the kernel and the compiler. Somebody had a heart attack when they realized that this was a 2 meg entire compiler and kernel. So over and over, the nigger seems to have a problem. I don't know why he can't do the install. I told him that I'm not interested in. I don't want a debug box. This has a debugger. There, you have a debugger. It has box doesn't do symbolic debugging. And oh hell no, I'm not doing ELF. Why would I do ELF? Fuck ELF. I'm not doing ELF. You can say unassemble, address, print. Has the debugger. You can set breakpoints. But it's not much fun. Printf is the way to go. Okay, you do have a stack trace. when it crashes, you'll get a stack trace. So what you normally do, it'll crash, you get a stack trace. Try exit. It might recover, otherwise you have to reboot. So it's a white man operating system. I wrote a debugger. I wrote a compiler. I wrote a bootloader. I wrote a partitioner. That's what a white man operating system has. A professional. Okay? I don't want grub. Go fuck yourself with grub. I don't give a fuck. Chain load. It's a CIA plot to fuck you up. It's not. Grub is not your friend. They want you dependent so that you sold your soul and you can't make money. I like being independent because God has dignity above the level of the hippies. God has dignity. It would not be dignity for God to depend on the Marxist hippie niggers. That would not be dignified for God. So we don't depend on the Marxist hippie niggers. CIA, Marxist hippie niggers. Anyway, fucking crazy ass cult. Get yourself a real cult. Fucking free. 4 freedoms and shit. God damn, that's a pathetic cult. You get them saying that shit. That's some psycho shit, man. Who believes this shit, man? Why are you saying such retarded? Anyway. So So these people want me to fuck up my code because Box is fucked up. How much you want to bet they don't support interrupt 1342? How much you want to bet Box does not support interrupt 1342? That will royally sabotage you. Don't use Box. It's not debugged for 64-bit, and why on earth would I want to fuck my code up just because Box is not debugged for 64-bit? I had to make a slight modification or two for VMware and VirtualBox that wasn't a problem on real hardware. You know what? I worked at a company and there was an engineer who was making a prototype and he needed to install a switch. What did he do? He looked at the plastic box, drilled a hole where he thought the switch should go. If it looks right, it's right. Guess what? If it works on Intel CPUs, it's right. You don't have to worry about any other. If we're talking about instructions and we're talking about architecture, if we're talking about the Intel CPU architecture, you don't have to do any others because there aren't any others. Fuck AMD is that's I don't care. I'm not worried about AMD. These saboteurs will make you basically if you want to check for capabilities, you're wasting your time because Intel basically, if it works, it works. I'm not talking about, there's a whole shitload of things that can go wrong for hardware, But when we're talking about just the CPU, and we're talking about 64-bit issues, there's not any other architectures. They could make a change down the road, and if you didn't read the manual very closely, you might get in trouble. But for the most part, if it works, that's it. The bug is in Box, not who's gonna. If it works on an Intel natively, and Box has some problem, Box is the problem. Fuck Box. They can say, oh, but Intel didn't do it right, or that's an undocumented feature. Fuck that. Like, for example, an example is when I start up. This is a classic example of what I'm talking about. My kernel starts in real mode. It calls the BIOS for a few things, and then it changes to 32-bit and then 64-bit. And along the way, this is my global descriptor table. It's this is double the normal size. All those, I've been 64-bit since 2007, but those people are way behind. And my table is set up for 64-bit. And you know what I do? I use the same table in 32-bit because every other entry is 0. An example of what could go wrong, Box takes one look at 0 entries and crashes. However, Intel does not crash. Intel is perfectly happy with 0, every other entry is 0. But Box probably goes through, and that's an example. I'm just telling you all the shit that can go wrong. I don't want to debug Box. As far as I'm concerned, if Intel is happy with the 0 GDT entry in 32-bit mode, and it saves me the trouble of making a separate table, fuck Box. Box is tiny. This works on VMware, QEMU, and VirtualBox. And VirtualBox. What I'm talking about is Box, not VirtualBox. Anyway, be aware, VirtualBox tries to give you 64 meg. Some people say, you lie. I know it'll work with 64 meg. I can tell by the resolution. I'm telling you, it uses 512 meg. So be aware with VirtualBox that the default is too low. You have to increase the meg. As a matter of fact, even VMware defaults to 256 meg. You want to change it to 512 or above. It's 64-bit. You can do 128 gig for all I care. But for 10 years, the people at OS Dev have been saying, it doesn't boot. You lie. You're a liar. It doesn't boot. You don't do it right. For 10 years. And maybe it's just delusional. No, it's not delusional. They fucking are talking to me. I'm not interested in debugging Box. I don't give a fuck. Why don't you... Isn't that ironic? I wrote a compiler, a bootloader, I got these clowns. I wouldn't be surprised if Box doesn't do interrupt 1342. How much you want to bet it sabotages? They tell people to do the cylinder head sector. That is so old. That's 2 generations old. I had to upgrade because 28-bit LBA didn't work. I had to upgrade to 48 LBA, which is interrupt 42 heck. They're doing cylinder head sector. It's fucking ridiculous. I have paging if you want to be specific, technical. See, you're trying to reinvent Linux. There already is a Linux. Tell me one feature you have that Linux doesn't have. I'm trying to invent a Commodore 64. I have tons of features that Linux doesn't have. Imagine if you had 64-bit DOS. The CIA is angry if you don't use paging and ring protection. Those are my advantages. It makes mine faster than theirs. As a matter of fact, watch this, nigger. Watch this. While true yield. I can save the task and load a new task 4.6 million times a second. Do you know why? Because I don't mess with the page tables. Do you know what that enables? That enables a brand new way of programming. Because I can change tasks so fast. How fast is reading an I/O port? It's 1 megahertz. How fast is changing tasks? 4 megahertz. I can change, if you're looking at my disk code, this will blow your mind. Right here, I'm waiting for data ready. I do it synchronous, and I'm reading an I/O port, and then I'm changing to the next task. Now normally you would think that the task was the big time operation. As a matter of fact, you can read the ports at about 2 megahertz or 1 megahertz. I can change tasks at 4 megahertz. So this takes half a microsecond. This takes a quarter. Isn't that hilarious? The task changing is faster than the reading the port. So because I have such a fast task swap speed, it enables me to, when I idle, I can simply loop changing tasks. They're sitting there doing a busy loop, and I'm doing a task changing loop. So believe it or not, because I'm not using paging, I can do a lot of stuff that has value. You're just making a piece of shit crap fuck Linux. Why are you making a shitty Linux? Why? What is your purpose in life? Why are you making a shitty Linux? Exactly. You're following the fucking book, bug for bug. Making a goddamn monkeys the CIA wants you with blinders so that they've never seen a Commodore that had a different command line. Let's talk to God. The CIA called yesterday. 97616. Go to now, ye rich men, weep and howl for your miseries that shall come upon you. Your riches are corrupted, and your garments are moth-eaten. Your gold and silver is cankered, and the rest of them shall be a witness against you, and shall eat your flesh as it were fire. Ye have heaped treasure together for the last days. Behold the hire of the laborers who have reaped down your fields, which is of you keep back by fraud, crieth and the cries of them which have reaped are entered into the ears of the Lord of Sabaoth. Ye have lived in pleasure on earth and been wanton. Ye have nourished your hearts as in the day of slaughter. The nigger doesn't know what a random number is. TempleOS works on all modern computers if you run it in VMware. And as soon as I'm confirmed as High Priest, I have divine authority over Intel as long as I authorize with a miracle. We're going to fix the clusterfuck. God said 640 by 480, 16 color was a covenant like circumcision. God said single audio voice. So my interpretation of a single audio voice is one frequency at a time. So I don't know if he's going to confirm it. God said a good musician only needs one audio voice. An angel musician. 81788. Oops. Eight one seven eight eight 81788. And they clothed him with purple and platted a crown of thorns and put it on his head. He began to salute him, Hail, King of the Jews! And they smote him on the head with the reed and did spit on him, and bowing their knees worshipped him. And when they had mocked him, they took off the purple of him and put clothes on him, led him out to crucify him. And they compelled one Simon of Cyrenian, who passed by coming out of the country, the father of Alexander of Rufus, to bear his cross. And they bring him unto the place of Golgotha, which is being interpreted the place of the skull. And they did drink wine mingled with myrrh, but he received it not. And when they had crucified him, they parted his garments, casting lots among them what every man should take. Well, that wasn't quite. Oh, okay, check YouTube comments. I forgot. Let's see what we have. Oops. Oh, okay, check YouTube comments. I forgot. What does that do when you pause it? I don't know what that does. That's like Portal. I don't know. So I don't want Navita to make a driver, but I have a funny saying. Linus says, "Fuck you, Navita." I say to the CIA, I say to the BIOS companies, "Fix it, nigger." I made God's temple. That's why it's perfectly reasonable to say, "Fix it, nigger," to the BIOS makers. It's perfectly reasonable. You see, the nigger still is confused about what a random number is. The nigger brain just cannot understand that. He does not understand what I'm doing. I'm going to certified random number sites, and they are talking because it's fucking God. So it's perfectly reasonable to tell the BIOS companies, "Fix it, nigger." It's perfectly reasonable. 94053. The nigger just cannot understand what a random number is. 95, what was it, 053? 94053. The power of God. For we also are weak in him, but we shall live with him by the power of God toward you. Examine yourselves whether ye be in the faith, prove your own selves. Know ye not your own selves how that Jesus is in you, except ye be reprobates. But I trust ye shall know that we are not reprobates. Now what is this? Just fuzzy faggot talk? No. Jesus is in you. That means you can do superhuman things like, "No, I pray to God that you do no evil, not that we should appear approved, but that ye should do that which is honest, though we be as reprobates. For we can do nothing against the truth, but for the truth. For we are glad when we are weak, and ye are strong. And this also we wish even for your perfection." So what does this mean? Jesus Christ is in you. Is that just faggot flower talk? Why did he say it? Does it mean anything? What does it mean? In real world terms, what does it mean how Jesus Christ is in you? What does that mean? What does that mean? You know what it means? I'll show you what it means. It means you can go to 3 gigahertz and control the timing. Comic Eins Cop Dog Man Site Hem Voice Hate Retard Hem Heaven Peter Dry Dr. Temple Engineer by Dry Man Pope Jump Soldier War God Dome Temple God Pope Street Site No Job TempleOS Engine Site Wall Web Windows ISIS Airplane Obama Quit It. Puppy, where's my puppy? I wasn't talking to Linus. I was talking to the BIOS companies that. So, if you do a LS PCI minus V, there are ports for the SATA controller, but these are not operative when I boot my own CD-ROM. And whatever is going wrong here, the BIOS maker needs to fix it. And that's why I say, fix it, nigger. Fix the BIOS. The funny thing is, I have divine authority. I can do a miracle. Tell the nigger to fix it. Or just kill the nigger. 15936. And when the Jubilee of the children of Israel shall be, then shall their inheritance be put under the inheritance of the tribe whereunto they are received. So shall their inheritance be taken away from the inheritance of the tribe of our fathers. And Moses commanded the children of Israel according to the word of the Lord, saying, the tribe of the sons of Joseph have said well. This is the thing which the Lord doth command concerning the daughter of Zelophehad, saying, let them marry to whom they think best, only to the family of the tribe of their fathers shall they marry. So shall not the inheritance of the children of Israel remove from the tribe to tribe, for every one of the children of Israel shall keep himself to the inheritance of the tribe of his fathers. Every daughter that possesseth an inheritance in any tribe of the children of Israel shall be wife unto one of the family of the tribe of her fathers, that the children of Israel may enjoy every man. What? I don't have any student debt. What have we done here? You see, Fraser cannot understand what a random number is. We go into Google, quantum random number. Now Fraser thinks this is Bitcoin. Fraser is a nigger. Fraser thinks this is a Bitcoin mining machine. That's what it reports. To Fraser, when he looks at this, he sees Bitcoin. What it actually is, this website offers true random numbers to anyone on the internet. The random numbers are generated in real time in our lab by measuring the quantum fluctuations of the vacuum. The vacuum is described very differently in the quantum mechanical context than in the classical context. Traditionally, a vacuum is considered as a space that is empty of matter or photons. Quantum mechanically, however, the same space resembles a sea of virtual particles appearing and disappearing all the time. This results due to the fact that the vacuum still possesses a zero-point energy. Consequently, the electromagnetic field of the vacuum exhibits random fluctuations in phase and amplitude at all frequencies. By carefully measuring these fluctuations, we are able to generate ultra-high bandwidth random numbers. The quantum random number generator is based on these papers. The nigger says, it's Bitcoin. You have artificial intelligence and Bitcoin making Bitcoin. This is Bitcoin. Okay, we got 18834. And it shall come to pass, when many evils and troubles are befallen them, that this song shall testify against them as a witness, for it shall not be forgotten out of the mouths of their seed. For I know their imaginations which go about even now, before I have brought them into the land which I swear. Moses therefore wrote this song the same day, and taught it the children of Israel. And he gave Joshua the son of Nun a charge, and said, Be strong and of good courage, for thou shalt bring the children of Israel into the land which I swear unto them, and I will be with thee. And it came to pass, when Moses made an end of writing the words of this law in a book, until they were finished, shall not be forgot out of the mouths of their seed. I think God wants a we can hit F6 and we can get a song. Okay, so we can put the song for safekeeping onto my if you put it in a document, then it becomes active. We're going to deactivate it. There, now we have Moses on. Someday I'm going to transfer it over to QEMU, where the speaker's not distorted. And we have songs. So QEMU has no distortion. So we could transfer that song. It's a muse. A muse is an angel which gives songs. A muse. God can block. Not only can God give ideas, God can block ideas. Okay, I'm getting tired of this. Call it. I'm gonna get some chips. That wasn't the most impressive. Let's go see what's here. These are the most fun. Smack the nigger. What are you doing, eh? 11. Okay, no more. Okay, we're shutting down. Oh, I should go to the Okay, maybe I'll be back after chips, after I get some chips.